Hi guys, Fraser from LIFCO Hydraulics. Here we don't have a troubleshooting, but it's more of just a problem solving video. It's 4 large piston pumps off an oil rig. The issue is this unit was discontinued 30 years ago. We can get some parts, but not a lot. We can't get complete units. And this customer is unable to replace with another series. We got to get this working. This is a tough one. This is a lot of damage that's happening here. If we open these units, what can we reuse? What can we save some money on and save a lot of hassle on? And what do we have to bite the bullet and try to get a replacement going on? Let's take a look and see what's going on with these pumps. Now in this one here, we could see the insides of it with this removal of the side cover. Not a lot of units have this side cover that gives access to it. It's an older style, so they have an old way of doing it. But inside we can see the pistons, and you can see the swash plate and the control pistons. What's the results of this first unit? It looked okay, which is good. We can clean it up and we can get a lot more life out of this. One problem is it looks like the housing has been tampered, modified, or repaired once already. There's helicoils in the threads. We cannot reuse this. It's not OEM spec, and we are an OEM service repair, and it's simply not worth the risk. Okay, so the first pump down, not too bad. I wonder what the issue is. The T6Cs that are on the back, those are the vane pumps. Those are the charge pumps. In newer versions of pumps, they would contain that charge pump within the pump, or they have the option to make it a much more compact system.
So now this will come off. Now we can take filter housing off and then take these off and see how big of a mess we can make.
Yeah.
Bluetooth pistons.
And why are you calling them that?
Because they're not connected.
This would not be working.
No.
No.
This would do nothing but spin in a circle
Yeah.
and make a loud noise.
Wow.
Alright, well now I can take the back end off. Support plate's actually not notable. Now I'll do the same thing. I'll just flip it over, take the shaft out. Still look good. Like these would probably be usable if they didn't break off. They're not even the worst here, but I mean they're garbage.
And then just so that other people can see what they're supposed to look like. I know it's not the same size, but...
Second one, not lucky whatsoever. Looks like this is the reason why these units came in. Catastrophic failure. Good news though, the housing on this one is okay, but we got to get all new internals on this.
Trent was taking apart the second unit, I was taking apart the third unit, and when I was taking it apart, while the unit was still mostly together, I noticed that this bearing cage, this failed. The cradle bearing should look like this. This one's bent and distorted. You can see how that one's all bent. This one's still holding the same shape it should be, and all the rollers are actually intact, retaining that cage like they should be. And we can see this one that's been damaged and bent. It's allowed some of these bearing rollers to actually come out of the cage and travel through the internals of the pump, and we can see one of the rollers here. The rollers were scattered throughout the pump. So if we take a look, this is one part we're going to reuse. It looks pretty bad up here, but in speaking with Lloyd, he informed me that this won't make any difference. This won't come in contact with anything.
No.
And I actually fed the drive shaft through here. There we go. So it engages properly and it's not making any difference there. The tops of the barrel bores are a little bit scored up, but the rest of the barrel bores, the brass sleeves, are in pretty good shape. I also threw this in the lapper, and that lapped up nicely. There's a little bit of cavitation here, very slight, but we'll reuse this barrel. So these are going to be replaced.
Oh yeah.
These are the cradle shells. The swash plate will be replaced. And all of the pistons are in really rough shape too. So the pistons just on the sides of the shoes.
Wow.
So all the pistons will be replaced, as well as the retaining plate. There's quite a bit of damage to the retaining plate.
Now I'm concerned. Those piston shoes and the swash plate show a loss of lubrication. It appears to be quite sudden and catastrophic. Remember, these are closed loop pumps, the 3 of the 4 are, and that means that there's a motor that would have unimpeded oil flowing between the motor and the pump. Whatever happens to the pump will likely happen to the motor and vice versa. There's a good chance then that the motors are also damaged, but they never sent those in. They only sent the pumps in. Being closed loop, what could cause that sudden loss of lubrication? It would be a sudden loss of charge pressure. Remember, these don't really have a suction, but they do have an inlet. And the inlet is whatever the low pressure side is. If, for instance, a hose were to fail and they had a loss of charge pressure, that could cause this. I'd be interested to know is what else is on that charge circuit that failed. The charge pumps appear to be just fine. Something happened on the system. I think the customer should be advised. One of the big crowd pleasers of our facility are our Cardex machines. Cardex is a brand. They sell a vertical lift module. It stores parts in trays, and those trays are machined from floor to ceiling. And we just bought 2 new machines, so that's going to bring us to a total of 6 here at this facility. Stay tuned.
This is the 4th unit of 4. This is a BPR-75. That's right hand.
Now, pump 4, this one's different than the other ones. This one is a bent access variable displacement pump. It used to be more common decades ago. Now, most of them moved to an inline pump.
It's not good.
Was there any on that you saw?
Not really. It's very minor. You can see it starting to pull away, but it'll eat the brass way before it ever eats this part. It's a lot softer of material, right?
You see all like the dots?
Yeah, so that's aeration.
Aeration and cavitation. The aeration are the small microscopic bubbles that are in there. Sometimes you can see them. If there's a lot of them, it could produce like a cloudiness to the oil. Now, cavitation is something different. Cavitation is almost starving the pump of oil. So it's wanting to suck up oil, and if you don't provide it enough, it will continue to suck, but then air gaps will form in there. A void will form in there. Cavitation can be extremely destructive.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Not reusable on that one.
When it's deep like this, no.
Okay. And you're doing this because?
I gotta pop the seal retainer off. I had these made up for P260s, the Premiers. You can pull the barrel out without having to grab on the tiny little bolt. So it's just a seal retainer, shaft seal that sits around the hold down nut and this bearing. So now I'll pop this O-ring out. Take this shim out.
So what is this supposed to do in order to help you get it out?
So you have your hold down spot here, and when you thread these nuts, they're going to continue coming up while this stays fixed, which is basically just going to bring this up as you go.
Pulling the shaft with it.
Yep.
Okay.
Get your camera in here. Brass shavings. I'm assuming it's from the barrel, but also doesn't look like it's from the barrel because it doesn't look like pieces that would be from a barrel. If I had to guess, there was a failure in the system, and this is something that ran through because you got chunks of steel as well. And it's also in the case. So yeah, it'll probably be new rotating group. It's kind of hard to tell with the pistons because there's no shoe.
Yeah.
They'll probably be fine.
The bent axis is the reason why this one doesn't have any piston shoes. Those pistons are attached to the base of the shaft, and then the barrel rides on that sliding assembly in the back end cover. It's just kind of an old-fashioned way of doing it. It's quite common in variable motors.
Probably be new shim or trim rings, new barrel. Because of the cavitation, we'll have to reshim the new barrel, so it's within spec. New shaft seal, new gaskets, port plate. It looks like it's beyond repair because you got that shine there and you've got cavitation starting. We're still gonna lap it just to confirm it may clean off, but most likely won't. So probably replace the port plate. New shaft bearings. The shaft sealing sleeve looks good. Controls upon testing. Clean the housing, clean the bolts. Fairly simple pumps.
Yeah.
Annoying to build, but easy to inspect.
We were able to get the parts for the 3 BPV-200s to get them fully repaired. And then the fourth one, which was that old style bent axis variable piston pump, we replaced with the P2 unit.
So we had one barrel in stock. We have to get another 2 overnighted in from Linde. For the most part, we had all our bearings, rotating group, seals, everything else ready to go for these units.
This is a rotating group. We actually have 3 more of these brand new ones, and this is another new one.
So this is what you replaced?
Yep, this is what's in there for the cradle, servo pistons. We had our other technicians who are learning Linde's doing the teardown on them. I did the build though. You gotta tear them down before you can learn to build them. They tore them down, did the inspection, rebuilt them, put them on the test bed. It's 93%, 94% efficient.
And what do we always strive for?
100%. That's what we strive for.
Well, sure.
For a repair, anything north of 90 is pretty good.
Okay.
Actually, it's almost to the same level as new on some of them. The customer's original parts, new bearings, new seals, re-shim back to Linde spec, and tested.
And that one that Trent's got there, that's got 2 variable displacement bent axis pumps. It looks like a Rexroth A8.
That's a different video. Right, don't even start with that. Tune in.
This is the new thing now, so I'm talking to you. Oh, what are you guys doing over here?
Right now, we are trying to find...
Oh, you actually don't answer.
The pumps and motors that you see on these videos, they're your pumps and motors. Send them in. We'll make a troubleshooting video, and we don't charge for labor if we're making a video on it.